everybody, Susie here. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm having my morning coffee, and if you guys hear any noise in the background, it's because I got the heater on in this room. This room is very drafty, and it actually is cold outside this morning, believe it or not. So I do have the little heater on in here so I can keep warm. But I also have the door shut because my husband actually is off work today because he's off on Fridays. So hopefully it doesn't get too hot in here, or we might have to open up the door a little bit. Otherwise I might be sweltering in here. All right, so I just went ahead and cracked the door a little bit so that way we didn't get hot in here. So in today's video, I wanted to do a story time video with you guys, and I am getting ready for work. So I'm just going to be kind of getting ready as we go, and not going to be really explaining what I'm using because it's more of a story time video. But if you are interested in a certain thing I use, just leave a little comment down below and I will let you guys know what I used. So I'm getting ready for work, and that made me think of the perfect story time video. So you guys were very excited when I told you I was going to start doing story time videos. And story time videos are just basically videos where I tell you guys a story. But in today's video, it's not really so much, I guess, a story. It's more so I'm telling you about, I'm going to say it's 3 places that I worked that were probably the worst jobs I had ever had. So I work as a medical assistant, and I've been a medical assistant since 2014. Prior to being a medical assistant, I used to work in a grocery store. I also worked in a lot of food service jobs, and I do kind of miss, food service and whatnot, but I decided, I had enough about food service. I was ready for some better pay, and at that time, you weren't getting paid that much money. It wasn't like it is now where people are getting like $14 at Zaxby's and stuff. You were getting paid like $8 at some places, and you were happy about it. You know what I'm saying? So, I was happy that I was going to be going back to school, and I was going to be getting, more money. And I also always kind of was like interested in the medical field. So this is a good way for me to get into the medical field, not have to do a ton of schooling, and, hopefully get into a field that I found interesting where I could learn things. So I went to school, and I ended up graduating medical assisting school, and I actually did a associate's degree in medical assisting because I wanted an associate's degree because I didn't go to college. Well, I did go to college right after high school, but I dropped out. So when I went back for medical assisting, I decided to do the 2-year associate degree and do some extra, just have it take longer, but I could at least say I have an associate's degree. I had a college degree, and that's just something I really wanted to do. And I did my, what they call an externship or an internship, where basically you don't get paid for it. You just kind of work free at a place that sometimes your school chooses, sometimes you choose it. And my place just happened to be, first, a pain management place, and then secondly, it was a primary care doctor, which was very interesting. Had his own practice, and it was very interesting. So that was my externship, and I had to do that for, I think it was like 3 or 6 months or something like that. And I did still work, but I only could work like a couple days a week. So I worked at several different kinds of medical assisting jobs since then. But one of the places that I worked at before I even really got out of medical assisting school. When I was still working at the grocery and going to school, I saw a listing for a job in a nursing home. It was a skilled living facility also, I guess, but it was also a nursing home. And I'd never worked in a nursing home, never did anything in a nursing home other than like some volunteer work and stuff when I was a kid for church. And I, saw that they had a position for a dietary aide. And I thought I would apply to that because I was, in school to be a medical assistant. And I thought, well, after I get out, maybe I will be able to get a job there as a medical assistant. And in the meantime, they were paying well, and the schedule wasn't awesome, but it wasn't terrible either. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna leave my job at the grocery store. I'm going to go to this job as a dietary aide, and I'm gonna get my foot in the door. And then once I do, I can go ahead and be a medical assistant there. So I applied, I did get the job, and I started work at this nursing home. This is my number one job that was the worst job I ever had. It was a very nice nursing home, really big, very expensive, I'm sure. And as a dietary aide, what your job is that you work in the cafeteria food area, I guess, of the nursing home. You are assembling their food, getting their food together, seeing what kind of dietary needs they have, making sure they get puree or whole food, or there was like another level too. I can't liquid diet or something. It was disgusting. So you did that, you assembled their food, and then you would go in like a team up to the floor where the residents were eating, their food, or, you would take it and stop in these different hallways of rooms, and the, I guess, medical assistants or the, like LPNs or nurses, they would come out, they would get the food, they would take it to the residents' room. Sometimes you would put it in their room, but it was very rare. You just kind of went as a team. You would give everybody their food, and then you'd come up again to collect all the trays at a later time. So in theory, it doesn't sound very hard. The carts are very big and really hard to push. Barely fit in the elevators, and they're heavy. So the job itself wasn't really terrible, I guess, except when you were in the actual cafeteria where it was basically like an assembly line. So like everybody had a little station, Janny does toast. Betty, she puts bowls of oatmeal on the tray. It's the little assembly line goes down. Everybody has their station, but that assembly line is going like fast. Like it's going fast. Like if you are not keeping up, it's bad news. So any little kink, slows everything down and ends up taking longer. And then you got people calling, hey, where's the food? So it was a bit stressful, I guess, because, it was such a time crunch to get the stuff out at a certain time. And if you weren't on the line and because you rotated, then you were in the dishes, and there was 2 different areas of dishes. One was like this giant area of things that were soaking, like these big pans and things that didn't fit in the giant, like 80,000 pound dishwashing machine. They would go in this other little sink, and they were like concrete. So you were scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing all day long. Or you were in the dish room where you were loading up this giant dishwasher. The plates are like 500 degrees, no joke, when they come out. You could literally burn yourself. Like, it was that hot. Obviously, they have to like sanitize them, like heat sanitize the plates when they go through this giant dishwashing machine. So they're really, really hot and burning your hands. Or you were, you know, throwing whatever the food the resident didn't eat into this giant vat, and then pressing this button, and you would cover it and it would like grind all the, it was disgusting. It was an absolutely disgusting job. When I think about it, I truly feel like trauma. Seriously, I really do. And I went on at this job for a little while, really not liking it, being like, this is a terrible job. And what really made me snap, I think, one day was, by the way, as you're doing all this, you like barely have time to eat. Like, you're like starving. And say you're like, I want to take a quick like snack. I want to go eat a snack. Well, you can't just like stop what you're doing, go eat a snack. You know what I mean? And in between time, that's when people would try to go and like eat a snack. But this one particular day, our like manager, I guess, she found herself like kind of telling people that like, basically in a way she had looked at me and directly said to everybody like, I have brought some donuts for you all this morning, since some people feel that they don't have enough time to like eat a snack or something. It was something like that. And I just was like, I like hit the roof that day. I couldn't do it. I literally got my things at lunch, got my things, went to my car, said, I'm going to sit in my car, and I left. And I, you know, at some point later in the day, she must have realized I wasn't there. She called and she was trying to call, and I just, like, I didn't even want to talk to her. Like, I was so mad because it was a direct thing. She directly looked at me and basically, like, insinuated that I was saying that she didn't give me enough time to eat a snack. So that's why she brought something for everybody so that people could make sure they have their snack. And it was just very degrading. And when I did it, eventually I answered the phone and I talked to her and I told her, and she's like, oh, I wish you would have told me. I would have did this and this and this. I'm like, you know what? I don't need this crap in my life. And I moved on. So that's the number one worst job that I had. Other two are also medical assisting jobs, but the story, I guess, isn't quite as long because I didn't stay very long at these jobs. One of them was a medical assisting job at a allergy and ENT office. And another thing, let me just mention, all three of these places were always hiring. Like, always hiring. Always had a job posted. You know why? Because no one wanted to stay there. Makes you think, you know, like, if you think to yourself, why does no one want to stay with us? Could it be because this job sucks? You know what I mean? Anyway, so this allergy and ENT office, this job, they wanted you to what's called float. So they wanted you to basically be at one office some days a week and another office other days a week, except that the two offices were on two completely ends of town, neither of actually which were all that close to where I lived, and one of them was clear across town. And me personally, I don't like float positions. I don't like positions where you don't really have your own area. You don't really have your own, like, area. You're basically just like a nomad going to and from different offices. And also, I just really, at that time, I didn't want to be driving clear across town to go to this other job. But what really, and actually I will say it was very interesting. It was a very interesting job. And I did learn a lot, and it was kind of cool. I learned I really like ear lavages, which is like where you clean people's ears. But the pay and like the commute was not cool. So I did it for a little while, but what really kind of made me decide like this job is definitely not for me is they wanted you to scribe, which is where you basically follow the doctor into rooms with this laptop, and so that they don't have to do their note, you basically have to do that for them. So you basically enter everything into the chart as they're talking. You know, you're typing, and you have to be really fast at it, and you have to basically know what they're going to say before they even say it, and then they just kind of move on. So like they really are just wanting to kind of cut out having to do a lot of work. So they want you to do the work for them, but you really don't get paid all that great. So that's that. So I did it for a little while, and I was a very slow scriber. I just don't do well, I guess, with someone talking and I'm trying to type really fast, and it's not my speed. So I wasn't very good at it. I feel like the doctor was always like going behind me and doing it themselves and saying I didn't do something right and saying I'm not. I just was like, you know what? I'm not a mind reader. I can't do this. So that job didn't work out for me. And then the third job was a medical assisting job, but it was at a GI doctor. So gastrointestinal, which is your, you know, your digestive area. So I got that job, and I worked there for, I think it was like 3 months. But if I'm being totally honest with you guys, I learned I don't like GI jobs. I don't like anything that has to do with, and I don't, I can't. Like, it physically makes me want to be ill to think about it. I don't know why I have such an aversion to like that. I don't have kids yet. I get it. If you have kids, you obviously probably have to deal with that quite a lot. But I can't. Like, I can't. And the thought of like having to go in this room and clean the like scopes and the machines after they had used them in there, just, it like literally made me want to be, it just made me want to be sick. Like, the girl was like showing me how to clean it, and she's like scrubbing it and like wiping it down, and like the whole time I'm just sitting there like feeling like I'm gonna literally like vomit, because I just literally just thinking about it is making me sick. I couldn't do it. There was like other issues, I guess, with the way that they kind of wanted you to work and the hours, and then they were even talking about like maybe sometimes people would have to come in on the weekends, and it was just a whole lot of things. But the fact that I was cleaning those things and dealing with I just couldn't do it anymore, and I couldn't do it. So those are the 3 worst jobs I ever had. Some worse than others. The first one was probably the worst one, the most traumatic one for me. And it probably doesn't even sound traumatic to you all. You would have had to be there to experience it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, let me know. I'm going to do some more. But I will probably see you guys in my next video. I'm going to continue on with my getting ready. But I'm just so glad that you guys joined me for a story time video today. I don't want to make these too long, so I'm going to go. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and you can always feel free to request a Storytime video, something you find interesting, just let me know. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.